Welcome Cycle One fanatics. We're back here at Veenker Golf Course. Big weekend coming up as Chris Seaboch joins me. You got the Masters, the Iowa Masters coming up this weekend, Chris. And really, this is the granddaddy of them all for you guys, isn't it?
This is the weekend that we really want to showcase our facility. We've got a number of the top players, top amateurs in the state of Iowa come to play the golf course. Not only the state of Iowa, but guys will come from Nebraska, Illinois, Minnesota. Just a really good time to see some of the top players, top amateur players in our state. It's one of the top events yearly that guys really bookmark on their calendars.
Coming up, it'll be Friday and Saturday. You're going to have the pre-cut golf, and Sunday that everybody's going to be going for all the marbles. Is that right?
Correct. We've got just about shy of 200 players coming to play. Everybody gets to play on Friday and Saturday. At that point, we do cut the field down to a little bit smaller. There's two divisions. There's an open division, open to anybody, and then there is a senior division as well. And both divisions are very popular. There's a lot of really good talent in both divisions. And it's just, we're looking for a great weekend. We've got great weather ahead of us. The course is in beautiful shape. We actually shut the course down this afternoon now so we can get everything mowed up. We can get the tees mowed, the greens, rolling the way we want them, get things marked up. There's just a ton of stuff to do, but we're really looking forward to the great weather this weekend and a lot of the great players coming to the tournament. There's been players that have played in this in the past that have gone on to play in the PGA Tour. Most recently, Zach Johnson played in the tournaments in about '96, I think, as well, back when he was a student at Drake. We see a lot of kids from Iowa State, Iowa, UNI, Drake, Simpson, Centrals, you know, your junior colleges, DMAC around here. It's a really strong field, and if you win, if you get your name up on our board, you know, you've done something really special, because there's only a few guys, you know, the really top guys that have a shot at winning.
Yeah.
Everybody else comes out and obviously wants to win, but's here for a good time and to compete and maybe beat personal bests or whatever they can kind of do. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're doing, you know, our results will be posted on our website at veenkergolf.com. We'll probably send a link to Chris here so he can maybe post some up on there. But if you're out on the weekend, if you don't have anything to do and you're around here, spectators are more than welcome to come out. You know, we've got tee sheets inside. You can find out when people play. If you've got a buddy that's playing in it, or you want to watch one of the top guys, you know, in the state coming out, find out when they play, come into the shop, grab a tee sheet. We can let you know about where they're out on the course, and come out and just enjoy some really, really good golf, because you'd really be surprised just what watching good players does for your own game as well. You can really pick up a lot of it.
Well, today, you know, Chris, the first golf lesson you gave me went over really well. People really enjoyed your insight. People didn't make fun of my swing as much as I thought they would.
No, it was a good swing.
It's
a good swing.
That. But today, we're going to kind of hone in on the short game. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah. You know, we had spoke a little bit before about your other game, and I had asked you how things were going. And as he posted on some of his stuff, he's made a few birdies going out and things like that. I saw him talk about that. I think it's important to note for a lot of your fanatics out there that might be doing some changes or doing some things. He said the exact things that I expected him to hear. He told me that he is hitting the ball a little bit further. He's making a little bit better contact with it than he was, but it's still not going, you know, straight or the direction that he wants it to go. He's hitting them maybe a little right, a little left, and that's perfectly understandable, because the things that we addressed, while it does help a little bit with your accuracy, most of the stuff we worked on with the grip and your swing really just deals with contact, and we haven't got into hitting the ball, you know, really focusing on hitting it straighter, just hitting it in the club face in general. So, you know, for him to say he wasn't hitting it as straight as he wanted to, I totally expected that. We haven't worked on that. That's going to be our next issue that we're going to do together. We're going to kind of work on some things to help him hit it straighter now that he is hitting it a little bit farther.
Nonetheless, progress was made, though. I'm hitting the ball about, I don't know, 15 to 25 yards farther than I was before. Still working on the consistency factor, but definitely some improvements being made. So, you know, Chris, a lot of people were wanting to know about the short game and some stuff like that, because I think that's a deal, too, where guys don't like to go out and practice the short game.
No.
And that's really where you can chase some strokes, right?
That's where all your strokes are at, without a doubt. Inside 100 yards, all the time. is where a majority of your strokes go out. Hey, it's fun to hit 300 yards. It's fun to bang the driver out there, hit it hard, crush it, all that stuff. There's no doubt about that. But if you go back and look at your scorecard, you're going to find that a majority of your strokes happen from inside 100 yards. On an 18-hole course, you're going to have 4 to 5 par 3s. So at most, you're going to hit 13 to 14 drivers, okay? You're going to putt at least 30 to 36 times. So driving 13, putting 30 to 40. You tell me what's a little bit more better, you know, what's more important at that time to shave strokes off.
Yeah.
You can't shave many strokes off of a drive because you only hit a few of those. Your fairway shots to the green, you're still only going to have about, 13 or 12 or 10 of those in a round. So yeah, there are areas for improvement there, but if people aren't getting on the green in regulation, or they're getting into an area where we're about 30 yards away and they're not putting their ball on the green, and then they're not two-putting from there, you're just adding strokes. And the only way someone can shoot consistently in the 50s and 60s is if they're having three putts a green, they're chipping 2 or 3 times and doing those types of things, because even your worst shots advance 50 yards for the most part.
Yeah.
So it's so important. Today we're going to key on those shorter pitch shots, those 30 and 40 yarders kind of, that we get a little bit closer to the green. They're a smaller swing, they're not comfortable for people. And I asked Chris to bring a couple different clubs. I asked him to bring his pitching wedge and his sand wedge. So he brought them both for me. Now, generally I talked to Chris and he said that a lot of times he'll just use his pitching wedge for a lot of shots. And I think that's pretty common with a lot of players. I don't think they realize, that they can use their sand wedge a lot of times in some shots, which is what you kind of did most of the time. Is that correct?
Yeah, and the problem I always had, I was so used to my pitching wedge, when I hit the sand wedge, distance was really a factor with it.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. People hit the sand wedge, especially a lot, inconsistent distances a lot.
Yeah.
But it's definitely okay to use. I would say, besides the putter, in most of your top players, their sand wedge is probably the club they hit the second most.
Wow.
Okay, so they hit their putter the most the first, like I said, 30 to 36 times in a round, 28, 20 if they're lucky. They're going to hit their sand wedge another 15 or 20 times probably out of that 75 or 78 strokes. They just have it in their hands all the time. And, if you don't have a sand wedge, that's okay. A pitching wedge does work. But I do prefer a sand wedge whenever you can, because it adds just that little bit extra loft on there. It gets the ball up just a little bit higher, which allows it to carry on to the green and stay on the green if it lands on there. They design them, to hit out of the sand. Definitely you want to use them in there. But they work great out of the fairway too, just to get that extra height on there. And when we do a few things, I think you'll find we're going to do some things to make your distance a little more accurate and a little more consistent.
All right.